In here with the DRACO group, live from the Rocky Mountains. So I want to talk to you today about the standoff at Trader Joe's that happened in LA this past week. Just watched a video that was a little bit disturbing, actually the dash cam video and the officers' videos from the scene. And so, number one, the chief of police talks about what happened over there, just to give you a little bit of information. So the police chased a guy. He had just murdered his grandmother. High-speed chase. He crashes his car. He runs into the Trader Joe's, and at the end of the day, they had a 3-hour standoff. At the end of the day, they had one person was killed, the manager of the store. Another person injured. They slightly injured the gunman and took him into custody after a 3-hour standoff. So turns out that the manager of the Trader Joe's was shot by the police, killed by the police. So that's obviously terrible results, something that we don't ever want to see. When the chief of police was talking about the situation, so he started talking about how difficult the situation is, something that we hear across the board. I feel like it's this, off-the-shelf written speech that every chief has to give, like, hey, it's a really difficult situation. Guess what, guys? Anytime that you are in a shootout, it's a difficult situation. So if we want to get better at our results, at our operations in the police world here, we have to kind of leave that on the shelf and let's talk about honest analysis of operations so we can get better. That's why we're here. Now, the chief goes on to explain that, hey, the police didn't know what was coming. They didn't know if it was going to become an active shooter event. Guys, you never will have all the information when you're in a critical situation. When you're on an operation, you're never going to have all the information. You're never going to know what is going to end up happening. So that's a silly thing to say. Now, the police. Now, watch the video carefully of the police body cams and the dash cam, and look at it very carefully to these points. So the cops stop at approximately 100 feet, would be my gauge, maybe 75 feet from where the shooter crashes his car. And if you listen to the rate of fire, you're gonna hear bomb, 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 bomb. A lot of cops shooting, and a lot of cops shooting pretty fast. Now I don't know how you guys feel, but I've watched a lot of professionals shoot, and in the police tests, most of those tests, the farthest distance that they're shooting their pistols at is about 75 feet. So that's a pretty far distance. And if these guys were at the max of their distance or even farther out than where they were typically trained to shoot at, they need to slow their rate of fire down. So here's the thing. Rate of fire, if you don't gauge it properly, will cause you to miss your target. And if you miss your target and you're in a civilian area, your bullet is probably going to hit an innocent person. So that's unacceptable. Now, your rate of fire is determined by 5 things, okay? Distance to the target, how much of the target you see, how fast you are moving or how fast the target is moving, how crowded the area is, and your own capabilities. So let's go through those real quick. Distance to the target, these guys were far away. They need to have a rate of fire that's more like bomb, bomb, bomb. Carefully aimed so they actually hit their target. See, people use this excuse of like, oh, it's a difficult situation to be a reason why you're allowed to shoot an innocent person. Is that why they're saying it? I don't know. So did they actually hit the wrong target, or did they miss their target and hit an innocent person? Those are the only 2 options. Okay, distance to the target, they were way too far away to shoot that fast. How much of the target did they see? You've got about a 2-second period where the guy exits his car and runs inside the store. He's moving very quickly, which means you got to shoot slower. You don't see much of the target, which means you got to shoot slower. The area is obviously crowded with people, which means you got to shoot slower. And the whole problem with our own capabilities, a shooter's capabilities, goes down like this. Most people who I meet worldwide, and guys, let me be clear, I've trained thousands of people. Most people that you meet worldwide who operate professionally with a weapon or unprofessionally with a weapon, they have a much higher sense of confidence with their own shooting capabilities than what they're actually able to do. So all of us, including myself, in an operation, I need to consider that maybe I'm not as good as I think I am, maybe I didn't train as well as I could have, maybe I haven't trained in a while. I need to shoot slower than I think I need to. That's the bottom line, especially if we're considering that there are innocent lives at risk. Okay, let's look at the next thing. The officers, once they shoot, bomb, 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 the guy runs inside the building. So now there's a moment where they seem to not know what to do. They all run behind cover. So there are a few critical mistakes that people make I'm sorry guys, but this is a terror situation. I know that from an Israeli standpoint, this is a counter-terror type operation that you have to operate in it with terror skills. In counterterrorism, there are 7 categories of mistakes that people make. One mistake that these guys made is choice of route. Why? If the guy's over there, would I run to cover over here? Well, watch me. The guy's over there. I'm shooting at him. Now, I run to cover over here. Cover for these cops was not this close. It was 25 feet away. So their choice of route is to run to the cover. What is the #1 best cover in a combat situation? Shooting the bad guy. That's your #1 best cover. So if your thought during a combat situation is, instead of running to the bad guy, who might, according to the police chief's own message, he might be on his way to do an active shooter event. Instead of running to him, I'm running behind cover to protect myself, and now utilization of cover was poor. I go like this. Oh, look how much of my body is exposed above this thing. Why not use cover properly and come like this? Then you're able to keep your eyes on the target. You know where he's going, you know what he's doing. If you can't see the target, then you run to the next place, the last place you saw the target. But at least utilize cover properly if you've decided that you're gonna run away from the fight to the cover, 25 feet away. That's too far to run to cover. I'm sorry, but we have to give honest analysis and honest critique of police work, and it is not enough to say, gosh, it's a really difficult situation. Good job, guys. Let's pat each other all on the back, and let's not talk about what really needs to be analyzed so we can get better. I wasn't there. I'm not trying to say these guys are bad people, but guys, let us critique each moment in this video. Watch it very carefully. Stop it 50 times if you have to, and think very carefully about those points. Rate of fire, use of cover, and decision of route. Your decision of route must be toward the threat, not toward the cover. If you happen to have cover on your way to the threat, fine, utilize it. Don't let cover determine that's where you're gonna run to. I'm gonna run backwards because there's cover back there somewhere. That's not right. Thanks for being with us. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good day.